Welcome to Bassmaster Fishing, episode 23, Lake Chickamauga. Found some new hot spots and I'm going to spend an hour on them preparing for the online open. Now this lake could very well be next. There's only 3 lakes it could possibly be. St. Lawrence is just finishing up the last couple days of the St. Lawrence online open right now. And we've done all the other maps, so the only 3 it could be next is Toledo Bend, St. Johns River, or Lake Chickamauga. Now this boathouse right here, you see where my map is, where this is on the map. This boathouse here is a major honey hole. I recently found it. I'm just not really sure what the best way to set up on this spot is. I got the synthwave boat. I got the Jenko fishing t-shirt and a 13 fishing hat. And I am ready to do some serious giant bass fishing with the Jenkolistic swim bait. Now last time I was here, there was a bunch of large bass in here, so I'm really hoping to see that. I didn't mean to pitch way off to the left like that. You see the splashes in the water. Are we going to get some super heavyweight giant bass? Or am I going to catch a legendary largemouth bass? Oh, looks like most of the fish might be over to the left. Now let me just try to locate the busy pocket of fish in here. It was a little while ago I marked this spot because I noticed a bunch of giant largemouth bass in here. And I'm just testing this spot right now. Just in case that online tournament comes up. I need to be prepared to hopefully win. Maybe I'll catch Scarlet, the biggest largemouth bass on this lake. And we know a lot more about Lake Chick than we used to. Big Timer Jay, he did a hotspots video for this lake. I think this is the smallest lake in the whole game. Lake Chickamauga in Tennessee. Yeah, you see how there's like a bunch of stripers in here? That's a really good sign. Often they're trying to chase you away from the really giant largemouth that you need for competition to win the tournament. Now, I say for the online open and Royale and career mode, probably stop and go is a better retrieve. But in free fishing, constant does seem to work pretty fine. It's just when you get into those other modes, it does struggle sometimes mightily. You can have a really hard time catching the giant largemouth if you use constant. But stop and go is not much tougher than constant. It's very easy, and sometimes the bite rate that you get from the giant trophy largemouth is much better than when you use constant. So if you are really struggling with your retrieve and constant just isn't working for you sometimes, try stop and go. It works like this. One, oh. You stop for 3 seconds, and you go for 3 seconds. It's a slow retrieve. 1 and 2 and 3 and stop and 1 and 2 and 3 and go and 1 and 2 and 3 and stop and 1 and 2 and 3 and go and you'll see stop and go appear on the dial to the left on your heads up display. And when that says stop and go, it's really a much better retrieve than constant. It's a lot more reliable. Will we see a legendary largemouth bass? That's the question. I do remember there being a lot more fish here. The last time I was here. So I'm looking around for the busy spot. Oh, that's a legendary largemouth bass. That is a legendary largemouth bass there. All right, I'm going to make a pitch for him. He's over here now. I got something with a heartbeat. What is it? I can't see it. No. That looked like maybe Scarlet or Serenity. So we know the legendary was over here on this side. And these white bass, man, they are just not giving me a break. I maybe could have caught that legendary if it wasn't for those white bass. But that was just before 8. So I'll certainly be returning to try and pick it up. Looks like maybe another white bass here. Yeah. That's that Jenko swim bait. I mean, just about everything goes for it. Gosh, they sure are being a pain in the butt. I mean, I must have caught like 10 white bass in the last 10 casts. So I'm just trying to learn this spot. And I know I saw a legendary largemouth right away. It was either Scarlet or Serenity. But she was over to the right here. I believe I'll set up a little differently on this spot. Maybe like kind of parallel with this boat canopy here. Wow, that was so close. I just couldn't get her. And I missed another legendary largemouth bass recently on Toledo Bend. I was at some random spot, just looking around for a major hotspot for the tournament, and a legendary largemouth bass showed up. I took a few passes at my Jenko swim bait and didn't bite it. And I missed that fish. But I guess you see all kinds of stuff here on the Bassmaster YouTube fishing show. Look at all the stripers in there right now. Wow. That's one of the telltale signs that a spot is very unique. When you see a bunch of stripers, you can be sure they're guarding a bunch of super heavyweight largemouth bass. That seems to always be the case. At least in my thousands of hours of playing the game, I found that is usually the case. When you see at least 3 giant stripers, it won't be long before there's a giant largemouth that comes through. So this is a little embarrassing. I got a Janko fishing shirt on, and I'm using the Jankolistic swim bait, and I just missed a legendary largemouth bass with it. So far, nothing of value in 2 game hours, but I had a chance at a legendary largemouth. Will Lake Chickamauga be the next up?
Somebody caught a toe.
Or will it be Toledo Bend or St. John's? And I feel like my best chance to win is probably on St. John's or Toledo Bend. I recently found a dynamite spot at Toledo Bend. But this is the one lake that I'm not sure if I would win. When I first started playing Bassmaster, this was the lake I started playing. And I caught almost all the legendary bass. And I moved on to Sabine River. I don't know why I started first at Chick. Maybe it was the fancy name. Or maybe it was Professor Smooth's videos at the time. He had a bunch of videos on this game on YouTube. And I learned how to play, from watching Professor Smooth's videos on YouTube. And since then, he has completely disappeared. If you know what happened to Professor Smooth's videos, put it in the comments. I'd love to know where he is and how he's doing, and thank him for all the help he gave me. Learn how to play Bassmaster. Not a very good bass. I mean, in real life, that would be phenomenal, but in this game, you need more like 14 and 15 pounders to win the tournament on Lake Chick. Well, at least so far you got to see a legendary largemouth bass on Lake Chick. You can even see the fish on the surface of the water. It's like all in front of this boat dock up here. It does appear to be a pretty good spot, even for legendary largemouth bass. Bunch of splashes in the water. The Chick is interesting. It's a lake that's pretty far inland from the ocean, and it's in Tennessee, so it's not some coastal town that gets a lot of fresh water, but the Tennessee River does run through it. This is not, however, the Tennessee River. This is Lake Chickamauga. And it is the single smallest map, I think, in the whole game. But it's not really small. I mean, it's...
and gentlemen, we have found Bassville.
Well, very mediocre, average results for the largemouth. But that doesn't automatically mean a spot is bad. It takes a few days of fishing on it. I mean, a few hours. Like, one day you fish from 7 to 1,500. And see how many big largemouth you get. Another day you fish from 7 to 1,500. And see how many giant largemouth you get. And another day, you fish from 7 a.m. to 1,500, the exact hours of the tournament, and you see how many giant trophy largemouth you get in that 1 hour. That's the best way to measure the effectiveness of a single hotspot for largemouth bass. You go for a few days, 1 hour a day for a few days. I mean, a few game days. One hour each game day, and then you restart the process on a different day. And that'll tell you, how many giant largemouth you can pull out of it in 1 hour's time. So far, pretty exciting. I did see a legendary largemouth bass. And when I get done this episode, I will restart the day because it appeared just before 8 a.m. So it's very early, and I'm going to restart the day in hopes that I can get a legendary largemouth bass video for my YouTube channel on this spot. It has stayed pretty busy. It looks like most of the fish are on the right side here. But I have been playing a lot of Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Black Ops 7 recently. Another average, mediocre, not very big bass. At least it doesn't look like a 14 or 15. It seems like on Lake Chick, you're really after at least for the tournament, you're really after the big 14s, the 1410s and upwards. No, another very average, mediocre, unexciting bass. That would not be the greatest for the actual tournament. Although I nearly caught a legendary largemouth bass here. So that is a very good thing for the tournament. Yeah, a lot of smallmouth, a lot of especially white bass here, and a bunch of largemouth. So the largemouth fishing is good. It just it almost yielded a legendary largemouth bass immediately, almost right away on this spot. So that's certainly not a bad thing. For competition, that's quite good. However, since that bass has been 12 pounders, has been the maximum size. But this is my first full hour fishing on this spot. Will this be my first giant? My first 14 or 15. It's 10:30 though, however, in the morning, and I just missed a legendary largemouth bass pre 8 a.m. No, another 12. Ouch. Another 12. Wow. So it's like the spot just doesn't want to give me a 14 or something. Maybe it's because first thing in the morning, I did see that legendary largemouth bass. And sometimes when they throw a legendary at you on a spot, and it's really easy to catch and everything, the rest of the fish will be garbage. And sometimes you're just better off at another spot after you catch a legendary. Kind of surprised that I haven't caught any 14s or 15s yet after seeing that legendary, but that can be typical. Getting a lot of action, just not giant trophy largemouth action. I'm getting action from just about everything else. Okay, guys, one thing I'm noticing is that when I'm pitching like on that rock bed over there, I'm seeing a lot more fish. And yet the legendary largemouth was over to the left a little ways, just in front of that boathouse, like directly in front of it. That guy was over here. Or well, I'm pretty sure it was one of the girls, Shreddy or Scarlet. It was probably Scarlet because it didn't like charge out. It didn't even look at the Jenko swim bait. So I think that it could possibly have been the biggest largemouth on the map, Scarlet. It could be that Scarlet has kind of a snooty, stuck-up, kind of snobbish attitude sometimes. And even with the best lures in the game, practically, she will ignore them. Well, we did see a legendary largemouth bass. That's good. That makes for a good show. Whenever you see one of those things, it's a good day. Even if maybe you don't catch it, and sometimes, unfortunately, you do see them, and they'll even sometimes be attracted to your lure. But they don't always bite. In my experience, they usually do, but they don't always. So there's just unfortunately no guarantee on those, especially on Scarlet, apparently. But I sure would like to release a Scarlet video later tonight on YouTube. If I can come back here, restart the time to first thing 7 in the morning, if I can pick her up, that sure would make a great video. And I don't believe she was even attracted to my lure at all. Sometimes when you attract them but miss them, they will not return. If you don't catch them, they won't return at that same time. But I found like when you don't even attract them, but you see them, but you miss them, they very often do return at the same time, that same day, if you restart the day or rewind the time. But if you attract them and miss them, like if you switch them on and they come after the lure but they don't bite it, they often will not return. Gosh, this is such a strange spot. I admit I'm a little confused as to like what this spot is. Is it highly competitive? Can you get a lot of 14s and 15s out of it? Or is it mostly always going to be 12s? Really not sure what to make of this spot. It's not like a raging, hectic, congested, busy intersection of fish. And yet I saw probably the biggest bass on the lake here. And now I did catch a bunch of 12s. So now I wonder if on certain days they turn into 14s and 15s. That is possible. That does happen in the wider game. Some spots will be like highly competitive. And yet some days they'll put out a bunch of smaller trophies, like more medium-sized trophies. Then other days they're like maximum-sized trophies. And that is kind of the way of Bassmaster.
You're gonna have a few competitors trembling with that toad.
Nothing is static in Bassmaster. They tried to make this game very unpredictable and, well, unpredictable. They made it so that you don't catch the same exact fish on the same spot every single day, every single time. Bassmaster is not like that. On the best spots, 1 out of every 3 days, you'll do like a max bag. In 1 hour is what I found. Well, about 3 more game hours. I think that might be 10 to 15 real minutes left in this video. I believe we probably did see Scarlet. I believe it was probably Scarlet for how like stuck up she was. Not even looking at the Jenko swim bait. That had to be Scarlet. And it has mostly been these guys. These white bass, man, they have just absolutely inundated me this entire hour, just about. And I guess at least I'm catching something. I missed a legendary largemouth bass, but I am catching a lot of stripers and white bass. And there's just a million splashes in the water right now. Definitely an exciting video. Missing a legendary, probably the biggest one on the map. And I did consider restarting the whole day. Oh, there's what I'm looking for. Oh, I got him. Good, good, good. This is probably my first 14 or 15 pounder at 12 noon game time. And guys, I am the worst in the world with this net. It's funny how bad I am with it. Oh no. I'm so sorry that I cannot bring this fish in. Oh yeah, that's my first like 15, 14, that's gotta be 15. 15-1. A real beauty, a very highly competitive fish. But it's the only one I caught. I did see a legendary though, which was 16 pounds. That fish was at least 16 pounds. I forget exactly what Scarlet weighs, but it's over 16. And then I caught that 15. So as far as competitively, so far, you would need this at least at another spot. Oh, that may have been big. I missed him though. Gave up too early. I do not believe this is a real monster here. No, he's a little too quick to be something absolutely enormous. Yeah, this is like a 10 pounder. Excuse me for that cough.
But it's a solid keeper. Cha-ching.
And one thing is, there sure is a lot of stripers, and that is a good sign of a spot that is guarding giant largemouth bass. Whenever you see a bunch of stripers in this game, you can be very well suspicious. There's another one. A pretty busy spot. Not as busy as some other ones on Chick. And in 5 game hours, I only saw 2 giant trophy largemouth, like unusually large ones. This is a very warm day. It's 75 degrees.
Not gonna set any records with that one, but it's a solid keeper. Cha-chunk, cha-ching.
So what do you guys think about discless consoles and digital game systems? I mean, do you prefer like discless or cartridgeless? Would you rather have all your games be like digital and just kind of like floating around in the ether on your SSD, or would you rather have them on a disc or a cartridge? I'm a physical gamer myself. I like to collect games physically just in case, anything should happen and, Sony goes down or Nintendo goes down or Xbox goes down, If you need those servers on to play certain games, some games are totally worthless without those companies. Without the servers, a lot of games these days are very multiplayer based. Besides the fact that it's just better to have like something physical that you can sell or trade or lend or borrow. I'm just a believer in physical games as opposed to digital. I do buy digital, but it's only in very special circumstances. When I cannot wait for a physical game to come in the mail, and I simply have to play it right away. Now, guys, one of the things I'm noticing here is there is many splashes off to the right as well. Like kind of over to the right. Kind of like over here. Like by this bank in here. Not just in front of this boathouse. I'm noticing like over here there's some splashes too. There's a big one. Oh, I got the striper instead. That bass really turned his nose up at me. Well, I guess you should definitely check over here too. All right, this looks like it could have some size here. Let's see. Yeah, he's big. He's big. This was over to the right, kind of by this curved bank area. Now I'm noticing a lot of splashes over to the right of this boathouse. A very nice fish, a 1311. So now I have a 15-1 and a 1311 with 2 game hours left. So I still have to work this spot a little more and get better at finding where the largemouth are going to be. And even though I saw a legendary largemouth in front of the boathouse, I also caught one of my only big fish over here on the bank. Interesting area in general. And it's been really fun fishing it. Very interesting area. There's giants and legendaries in front of the boathouse, but then over on this curved bank here, there's also some trophy largemouth over here, and a ton of splashes in the water. Oh boy, what is this? It's just like Brett. Guys, this is Brett. It's Brett. The legendary largemouth, the second largest largemouth in this whole map is Brett. Unbelievable, super heavyweight, legendary largemouth bass. And over on the bank can really deliver the results, as it turns out. Wow. Brett again. I just caught Brett the other day. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What a slob.
Boom shakalaka. Giant bass.
There's a doozy, boys and girls. A real beaut. 15-7. So now I have a 15-1, a 15-7. 13 something. And I really sort of like came back from the dead in a way. One thing I will say about this spot, guys, is there is apparently legendary largemouth all over the place here. I caught Brett to the right on the bank. I saw Scarlet, the biggest one, over in front of the boathouse. I just hope I can use Brett as the thumbnail. But guys, the legendary largemouth are all over this spot. I just saw Scarlet, or it was either Scarlet or Serenity off to the in front of the boathouse. Then I caught Brett over on the bank here. So that's something to keep in mind, is over here and here, I saw Scarlet, and here I caught Brett. So, I mean, that is what my research has yielded me. The information I got from my first day playing this spot. Oh yeah. Now I'm seeing some really giant trophies over there to the right on the bank. Yeah. Perhaps this would be a better casting point. This curved bank over here. I don't know. I caught Brett real easily here. The first few casts over in this direction, I caught Brett. A 13-pounder. And I just saw another giant trophy largemouth over here. And I've only been casting over in this direction for a few minutes. I think I've caught Brett a total of 4 or 5 times. Like I said, when I started playing this game, this is the map I started on. Just getting my feet wet, using crankbaits and stuff, and not really knowing really what I was doing too well, but watching a lot of Professor Smooth videos and getting the hang of it, catching a lot of legendary largemouth bass. Now, back then, I did not know how to prepare for the online open. What kind of fish you're looking for, how many of them you need in an hour, and so on. And I didn't really care too much about competing. I was just after the legendary fish. But now, every single time I play the game, I am always paying attention to the giant trophy bite on whatever spot I'm on, and testing it for its competitiveness.
Not gonna set any records with that one.
On like the world stage, against the best players in the world. I want to know if a spot I find can beat all of them. All right, one more game hour from 1400 to 1500 left in this Chickamauga episode. Caught a legendary, saw 2 legendaries, caught 1. And not just any two legendaries, 2 legendary largemouth bass guys in the same general area, about 15 feet away from each other. Appeared at different times of the day, but it's worth noting that the legendary largemouth are all over this spot. Well worth taking note of that. I saw 2 legendary largemouth in an hour here. Wow. Pretty phenomenal stuff. Well, I hope you play on Lake Chick. It's a great lake. It's one of the great bass lakes of Bassmaster. And some of them aren't like that great. Like, in my opinion, St. Lawrence is not one of the best because there's so many other species to contend with. Sabine River has the smallest largemouth in the game. Lake Chick is like the smallest lake with some of the biggest bass.
Absolute hydrilla gorilla.
And I think they did a great job of putting this lake together. It's a real treat playing on Lake Chick and Bassmaster and finding some great spots. My first time on this spot, and it can be a producer. I use a Jenko swim bait the whole time. Guys, that's just me. I always use the Jenko a lot. I win many tournaments that way. I trust the Jenko with my life. I played so many hours of Bassmaster fishing, 2022, thousands of hours. And I can tell you for sure that the Jenkoistic swim bait is by far in the top 2 best bass lures, and I mean giant trophy bass lures in this game. You can really trust it, and you should trust it, especially during, say, like an important tournament or a competition. It should be one of your go-to, most trusted bass lures. The best players in the world use this, and they use it liberally to help attract the largest possible trophy largemouth bass. So that really kind of saved my day, pitching off to the right on the bank where I caught Brett. That really saved my day. And I had decent results. Like, if this was a round in the online tournament, if this was a round in the online open, I would have a decent bag. But I should have been pitching over on this direction quite a bit more than I did in this episode. I just did not yet know about all the fish over here. Oh boy, that was a real mess up, guys. I saw a big largemouth in the distance and I wanted to go after him. So I quit early just before another trophy largemouth was about to strike. That was an error. Well, I guess it's time to look at my biggest fish. I got 1 minute left. And this is how I did. My 5 largest. A 15-1, a 13-11, a 15-7, that was Brett, and a couple 12s. So those 12s would have brought me down a bit in the standings. But I have a feeling had I been pitching on that bank more, I'd have caught those couple other giants. So thank you for watching this Lake Chickamauga, Tennessee Lake Bassmaster Fishing 2022 video. Have a good day. Bye-bye.